development. We've made so much emphasis on the importance of skills development. People are born with talent. Everybody, you just need to identify it, then you move on to develop it. But despite developing this, are there challenges that people go through, in developing these skills? We're going to be exploring this right now. And to discuss this with us in the studio, please join me as I make welcome Princess Victor. She is an emotional and personal effectiveness coach. I'm sure you're just sounding, what is this all about?
Yeah.
Emotional and personal effectiveness coach. Of course, you're not just going to be living your life the way you want it. You must be effective in whatever thing you do. Oh, she's here. She's going to be lending her voice to this topic. Again, I have a very handsome young man seated right beside me. He's no other than Goswi Akan. He is brand manager. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How do you do this morning?
I'm doing very
You guys are looking good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're glad to have you on Garden City Rendezvous. We're talking about and tackling the challenges of skills development. But first, I would like to start with you, Goswill. What is skills development?
Looking at it from the perspective of the marketplace, because if you want to develop skills, you need to look at it from the perspective of the marketplace. So it is a specific knowledge that is designed to solve a peculiar problem, right? So you can be gifted at something, but that doesn't mean that you're skilled at something.
Okay.
All right. So I can sing is different from I know how to sing.
Yeah.
I can sing is a gift. Everybody can sing, but that is different from knowing how to sing. Knowing how to sing is where the skill comes in. It is a specific knowledge that you develop that ensures that you can be able to solve a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody is gifted. Not everybody is skilled. What makes you different is your capacity to develop the right set of skills. All right. So we've seen most persons who are gifted at sporting, at football, right? But not every one of them are skilled players on the pitch. And there's a process, there's a body of knowledge you would need to be able
Constantly
to
working on that particular
before you can say that I am skilled.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Let me come in there.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for that definition. And I don't know, I really want to throw this question open because I'm really getting emotional. I know the whole thing. So how can one really start a self-development journey?
Princess, first, you're a coach, and first of all, in line with that question, do everything for us. Okay. So for us to go a step further, we have to ask ourselves, what can we do, and what is it that we need to make sure that we gain mastery on our innate ability? Self-development has to do with you working on yourself, asking yourself, how can I grow? Growing is different, and knowing how to grow is different. Knowing how to grow has to do with you knowing exactly what skills you need. You can read 50 hours, you can read all the books, but the 5 minutes of reading can make a whole lot of difference. It's for you knowing, what do I really need to read right now? Okay. What are the skills that I need to develop? Okay. And how do I start this journey? That's a beautiful one. From what you just said, first of all, you identify what you want to develop in. Yeah. And then you begin to ask yourself, what are the things I need? What are the ingredients I need?
Self-reflection.
Yes. Planning. I think that still boils down to planning.
Of course.
What exactly do I want?
Yes.
How do I achieve this?
Yeah.
Who are going to be instruments?
Yes.
That's
and how do you even identify what you want?
Yes.
Okay. I think you need to. How do people really come up with the skills they would like?
You know that if you don't, you will end up running around the circle over the years without achieving anything, or achieving a desired result. Okay. So how do people do that? Start from whatever you have. When I started my speaking journey, my husband was the only audience I had. I have to put on my projector, put on my system, and started talking. So at the long run, I know that I needed communication skills. Okay. I know I needed presentation skills. I know I needed emotional intelligence skill, because I am good at what I do. I know how to talk, but I have to know how to relate with him.
Okay.
I know how I have to learn how to relate and flow with any craziest person in the world.
That's
because
person's management.
Because
that's why you have a
my innate ability cannot take me to the long run.
So you have to
the degree and the skills will only open the door, but learning how to manage myself, manage the people I work with, that is what determines how successful I will be. So how do I start from whatever you have.
Amazing.
Okay, so if you are willing, let me come again to yourself.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm ready to develop, like using myself as an example. What areas do I start with? What are the most important or those key areas I need to look into?
I think that's about planning and all that.
No, not really planning.
She had identified,
Not really planning, so to say. I know she has identified it, but now you're talking about self-development. It's vast.
Yeah.
What are the key areas? Where do I start? Those important things I need to look out for. How do I start with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. So there's a process we call the SWOT analysis. Right?
SWOT analysis.
Yeah. This means your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and and threats. Right.
Okay.
So where do I start from in the process of self-development? You start from discovery. Right?
Yeah.
So you start from discovery. Now, what are you discovering? You are discovering your strength, being aware of your weakness, know what opportunities are there for you, and know what are threats to you. Now, what areas do I need to develop? You need to develop your strength. I know that I am great at writing. I know writing is my strength. I could write copies, I could write marketing campaigns and the like. So what do I need to do? I need to expose myself to mentors, coaches, and the knowledges that can be able to help me spark. Now, once you've found your strength, most folks say work on your weakness. No. The right phase of thing is ignore your weaknesses. In fact, outsource your weaknesses, but then focus keenly on what is your strength. Because what will make you are not your weaknesses. What will make you are your strengths. If you are big on your strengths, most definitely when you get to the phase of deployment, you will do so well. Because in the personal development journey, we have 3 phases. The first phase is discovery. The second phase is development, and the third phase is deployment. Is in the phase of deployment,
Discovery,
development, and deployment. It's in the phase of deployment that's where you make the money.
Then you start to getting returns of what you have done in the past.
Return on it, exactly.
Beautiful.
It's really getting interesting. Because I wanted to dwell on that. You discover yourself. You discovered where your strength lies. Now, how can you build confidence on where your strength lies?
No, it's simple. When you say I'm trying to build confidence, it means that you're trying to get great at what you are doing. Okay. Now, the process for building this is consistency. Your capacity to show up when it's convenient and when it's not really convenient.
Now we're going to look at the nitty-gritty of this discourse, the challenges. I want to find out what are the most significant barriers to effective skills development.
Okay, I would say number 1 is finances.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have so many things, so many amazing ideas in their mind they want to do, but they don't have enough resources or finances that will allow them to do that. For example, when I started, I didn't have a smartphone. I have YouTube account, but I didn't have a smartphone. It was a challenge. And when I finally had a smartphone, I had a smartphone that had that camera is bad. Okay. So I have to place the smartphone somewhere and be speaking. I wasn't seeing myself.
Wow.
It was it.
And you were still consistent.
I was still consistent, just like you said.
Wow.
I was still doing it. So I remember that I didn't have money to pay to someone to edit my videos. Okay. So I asked myself, what can I do for myself? I have to learn how to edit videos.
So at that point, you embraced your challenge.
I embraced my challenges.
Okay.
But you didn't allow it stop you.
No. Okay, you talked about finance. Are there other challenges that people go through in developing their skills in today's society?
Yeah, it's mentorship.
Okay.
Right now, you would need to understand that what helps you to be able to like give you a fast pace in whatever you're doing is mentorship. And mentorship is your capacity to stand on the shoulders of giants. Right now, why people suck at get this challenges in their processes is because they lack access to mentorship. That's number one. Number two is that exposure.
Okay.
They've not seen what is possible. I can do the things I'm doing today because I have seen what is possible. There's always a reference point.
Okay.
The successes you want to achieve this day is dependent on what you have seen. Really. So exposure is one. Two is mentorship.
Okay.
Okay, I would add that if you don't have opportunity like me when I started, I didn't have the finances to pay for mentors.
Okay.
I didn't have.
Do we pay for mentorship?
Yes, we do.
Mentorship?
Sometimes. Okay.
Sometimes we do, but sometimes on relationship
basis.
And there are mentors.
Yeah, because you spoke about finances.
I think the availability of mentorship.
An obstacle, then you're talking about paying for mentorship, starting by paying for mentorship.
That shouldn't even be for a good start.
Yeah.
First of all, when you talk about mentorship, you should be able to identify someone who has gone ahead in the area you desire to develop in, and then you also go around. That's how you present yourself or something. Okay, you explain. I don't know.
Mentorship is in two phases.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have paid mentorship and we have served mentorship.
Okay.
Right now, in paid mentorship is where you need to pay money.
Like coaches,
Right.
these are their job. That's what they do.
Okay. Right. But then served mentorship is you being able to being available to serve, because to get mentorship you need to be able to give something.
Of course.
All right. So that you don't become a parasite.
And the mentor should be able to carry you along.
Exactly. So if I want you to mentor me, first of all is I will need to be able to identify where I can be valuable in your life, so that it will be a mutual relationship.
Okay. Not a parasitic kind of relationship where you're always wanting from
not giving anything
something at this point.
Just like in relation to, thank you so much for bringing that point into life. Just like what I wanted to say. If you don't have money to pay to a mentor, please serve.
Exactly.
Be under someone. Don't.
I think the most challenging part is that the young people do not want to serve. They all just want to be on top.
They just want to
let's quickly look at the role of
Well, of
education.
course, you will not generalize that.
No. Sometimes that's what we say.
You not generalize that.
Just in a nutshell, in summary,
Yeah.
just tell us the role education system can play in skills development. We're wrapping up right now.
Okay then. So it plays a major role.
Okay.
So, okay, I will need to say this. Any job that requires you to work harder is a menial job. But any job that requires you to learn more is an executive job. So if you want to experience opulence in whatever you're doing, you need to be able to learn without permission. Education is foundational, not just that, but it is so imperative in your process of becoming who you want to become. And so there is a mantra that you need to live by if you really want to succeed in what you're doing, and that it's simple: learn without permission. You should not wait for anyone to inspire you, motivate you, poke you before you would want to learn. You will need to learn without permission. Yeah.
Okay, for your last word for the audience.
Okay, my last word for the audience, just in the line of education, is ask yourself, how far do you want to go? Do you want to remain local? Do you want to just serve Nigeria, or do you want to go global? If you want to go global, you know you need education. You know, if you want to serve the nation, you know you need education. Just like he said, learn without permission. Take learning as if your life depends on it.
Okay, let me just wrap it up now, because there's no time. I want to know, what's the difference between personal effectiveness and a self-development coach?
Okay, personal effectiveness is generalized. You develop yourself, you work on yourself. But when it comes to
emotional.
No, what did you say again?
No, I said self-effectiveness and self-development and personal effectiveness.
Self-development is generalized. You have to
knowing what you want and going for it,
maintaining and remaining there.
Maintaining it.
That's a beautiful way of wrapping up our discuss this morning. One thing you should go home with, or one thing you should keep in mind, is that education is a self-learning process. So nobody should cajole you, and there's no limit. In fact, the sky is always a stepping stone. You can get to whatever limit, whatever. There's no limit at all. Whatever a place you want to be. Thank you so much for coming on this program. Our friends who've been discussing with Goswi Akan. He is a brand manager, and Princess Victor, she is emotional and personal effectiveness coach. Thank you for coming on Garden City.
Thanks for coming.
We hope to bring you some other time. Well, moving on the program, we want to bring you this Breaker children teaser for holiday. Let's take a look.